Good afternoon. I am Ann Wallen, and I'm the Director of Maternity Wise. And today we're going to be talking about how to become a doula. We're going to go over the process and some of the details, the logistics of becoming a doula with Maternity Wise so that you can have an idea before you sign up or once you've signed up, what you're doing and what steps are first and next, etc. Um, you will also hear about pricing and that sort of stuff, those kind of logistics. Keep in mind that things sometimes change. So when you are getting ready to sign up for something, please check the website for all the details. Now, if you have questions about anything as we're going through, please put it in the chat box. And or you can also go to the website and at any point on any page, there's a comment box at the bottom, and you can ask a question there, and someone will get back to you really quick. All right, let's get started. Okay, so a day in the life of a doula. What's it really like? One thing that we really it's like a foundational principle in our training. And as you become a doula, you're going to find out why this is so very important. But preparation. So some people might think that showing up for the birth is what doulas do. But actually, what a good doula does is they do a lot of preparation with their clients ahead of time. So you're going to do a lot of education. You're going to work through emotional stuff with them. You'll answer a lot of their questions, but you're going to help them to understand what their choices are before they're in the position where they're under pressure to make a choice. And so, programs and agencies and things like that where you're just showing up for the birth, it's not as effective as what you could be if you were doing doula work, um, with this in mind. The minimum number of prenatals that you should really be having with your client is two. You should be in contact with them, pretty often before the birth. Um, yeah, it can be a lot, but what we're doing here is very, very important. And what we're doing in preparing them can actually help save their life later. So this is really serious work, and we take it very seriously. So preparation is the biggest part. And when you take a doula training with us, we teach you how to, prepare your clients, how to work with your clients to make sure that on the big day, that they are ready and that they're feeling good about their choices and that they're not afraid, to go into the labor experience because you're with them and you're going to help them, but not give them answers, right? And not just say, "Oh, you're fine," but actually help them to understand what their choices are. Um, you're going to systemize your business as well. So the best business practices would be to have some kind of flow for your clients. So when they contact you, you work with them, you talk to them about certain things, you make sure on the first time you meet, you're going to go over these things. The next time you meet, you're going to go over these things. And you kind of have it systemized because back in the day when I didn't have my care for my clients systemized, I would end up missing stuff sometimes. Like I would go over certain things with one client and go over other things with another client. And we'd be at the birth and they'd be looking at me saying, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "Well, we went over this and remember blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "No, I don't remember going over that." That's a bad situation to be in when you're a doula, feeling like, "Oh my goodness, like I thought that I talked to this client about this thing. So I've systemized everything." And I think you should too. Systemize your business. And then obviously know your stuff. Know the evidence-based practices. Know what the pros and cons are. Know, you might have heard of the acronym BRAINS, right? Know the benefits, the risks, the alternatives. What's your intuition telling you? What if you say, "No, not right now," or "We don't want to do anything yet"? And then S for space, give some space so that we can make that decision. And so being able to know your stuff means that you're going to understand the anatomy and physiology of birth to the point where no matter what kind of situation she might find herself in, you're going to be able to apply information that you know and critically think about her situation and give them some kind of guide as to benefits and risks and alternatives and all that stuff so that you can then give them a big picture that they can make a little bit better decisions and choices for themselves at that point. All right. So our philosophy is that you be well-rounded. You want your families to have all the answers. So or your families want you to have all the answers. And so one of our touch points really is that if you get trained with us, you're going to go through labor, postpartum, and lactation if you take our combo course. And we really are, um, all of our courses are pretty affordably priced, but one of the things that is really important to us is this well-roundedness that we want our doulas to have when they graduate our programs, right? And so even though the individual programs are priced really well, our combo program is priced really, really well, so that it hopefully encourages people to get that well-rounded education, because the bottom line is that even if you are the labor doula, your client is going to expect you to know all the answers. They're going to be coming to you after the baby's born with breastfeeding questions, with postpartum questions, with postnatal, baby care questions. Um, and it's important for you to have the right answers so that you're not steering your client in the wrong direction. And, it also is going to give them the best care. So, think about it this way. If you're with someone and then they need some kind of, triage level of breastfeeding care, you're going to, if you're not a trained, lactation consultant, if you're not trained in lactation support, like our CLSEs are, you would then need to send them off to someone else, right? And that someone else wasn't at their birth. That someone else doesn't have all the information from beginning to end that you do. Right. And so when you get trained in all of this, you'll also be able to see, okay, well, this is how this could be affecting this now, how the birth or some experience that she had before is now affecting breastfeeding. And you're going to know that, and you're going to see that and be able to recognize that. Whereas if she's just telling her story to a new practitioner, she might not know that certain things are important or applicable. And so if she doesn't share those, it might keep her from getting the kind of care that she really needs. Also, being able to really have good referral systems in place and networking systems in place so that you and other caregivers are sharing, not necessarily sharing information about a client unless they give you permission to, but really being able to say, okay, this is someone I trust that is going to give you good care. Let's send you over to them so that they can take you to this next level that's above and beyond my scope of practice, right? And so having that kind of, communal just network and relationships with people is really, really important as well. And then business smart, right? So speaking to your target market, if you are, a lot of doulas will have like a package in place, and they'll have, okay, my basic package includes these things, and my big package includes these things. And you can be then selling a bigger package because you offer more things. And families really are looking for someone that's going to meet all their needs so that they don't want to have to go to 5 different people. They don't want to have to hire somebody brand new for this, that, or the other thing. If you offer all those things, guess what? They already know you, they already trust you, they already love you. They're going to hire you for those things too. And then not only that, but it's also no lost income for referrals. So if you're sending people off to do something that you can already do, you're losing that income on top of the fact that it's not the best kind of continuity of care for your clients. Um, business smart, that is the best way to go, right? So what about the process of certification? So we have 3 processes. We have 3 tracks, we call them. The in-person track is where you are going to go to an in-person workshop, right? And you might travel to a workshop. Sometimes when we have people traveling to a workshop, it just depends on where it's located, but usually we have like an Airbnb that's being rented to hold the training. And so people from out of town can come and stay. If you do come and stay, we usually ask for a lodging contribution toward the rental of the house. It's usually small. It's not going to cost you as much as, like, let's say, staying someplace else and then commuting over. Also, if you're coming in from out of town, we can, make sure that you have a ride to the house. You can Uber it, or if somebody else is flying in, like we can always, work on carpooling or co-opting some kind of ride share situation for everyone. The other thing about these workshops is that no matter what track you decide to take, you will still have all the same assignments. The only difference in all of these tracks is just how you get your workshop. Okay, so you've got your in-person workshop, then a virtual live workshop, which is where you're basically attending a live in-person workshop, but you're doing it virtually. So you're at home on your Zoom while the rest of the class, and there's going to be multiple people on the virtuals. We always have quite a few people attending our classes on virtual, but there will be people in a room live, and you'll be watching and participating in the training. In the virtual room, you will also have a trainer or two who are there to interact with you on the chat there. Sometimes we have little breakout activities, and so then your group would be on the virtual doing your thing while the people in the room are doing their thing. So the virtual is actually really, really fun. I kind of feel like the virtual is the very best way of getting trained this way. Yes, in person's great, but on the virtual, you actually get to, it's very efficient because it doesn't slow down the speaker, right? So the trainer, she continues to teach, but you can ask questions on the chat, and then your virtual trainer can be answering them while you're still watching and tuning in to the workshop. So to me, that little bit of multitasking is really, it's just extra efficient. Your third way is to do the self-study track. And the self-study track just basically means you're going to watch a pre-recorded workshop, a workshop that already happened, and you will be watching that in order to get your workshop fulfilled. So the workshop is one of the assignments. What are the rest of the assignments? So you also attend a difficult scenarios call. Those are all listed on our Facebook group. When you sign up, you will be admitted into a private Facebook group. And those difficult scenarios calls, those are really based on a lot of times legal matters. So it could be like contract questions or emergency documentation, that sort of stuff. So we talk through difficult scenarios. Then you'll also have an e-class, and it's by Enjoy. So you'll log into that one and you'll do an e-class there. And it's basically that covers your requirement for a childbirth education class. Your book list, so you'll have 3 books for labor, 2 for postpartum, 3 for lactation. If you're only wanting to complete one of these courses, let's say you take the workshop and you do the combo, but really you only want certification in labor, that's perfectly fine. Just finish all the assignments for labor and then submit that. You don't have to submit all of them at once. You can submit them one at a time. You can submit one and decide, maybe I don't want to do the other ones right now, but then in a few months or a year later, you're like, you know what, I do want to do those. And so then you can complete those. You have 18 months to complete everything, which is well more than enough time. But in case you need longer, you can also purchase a 6-month extension. You can get 2 6-month extensions. So back to the assignment list, you still would also have some reading and writing to do, and then you support 3 families. I try to get my students to support 3 families through all 3 things. So you're going to support 3 people through labor, postpartum, and lactation, so that you don't have to go and find 9 people, right? You just find the 3, do all 3 with them. Even if you don't think that you want to certify with for all 3 programs, still do all 3 things with your 3 families, just in case you change your mind later. Okay. Next, what are these other logistics? We talked about that at the very beginning. So there's pricing. The current combo pricing is a sale pricing, but I'm sharing that with you here. $9.75 for a self-study combo, $12.75 to $13.75 for the virtual live. I think right now all of our virtuals are only $12.75. And then the in-person, depending on location, it's $14.75 and up. Now, payment plans are available with a deposit. So the way to activate a payment plan is that you would go on, and whatever program you wanted to do, whether it's in-person, virtual, or self-study, you're going to pay with a deposit. The in-person and the virtuals have what's called a deposit ticket. And so you would pay the deposit ticket. And when you do that, and usually I believe across the board, the deposits are all $375. If you need a deposit that is lower than that, just reach out to us and ask. We can sometimes break the deposit down. If it's a live workshop that you're wanting to go to, your deposit in full needs to be paid before the workshop starts. If you're doing self-study, your deposit would need to be paid in full before your curriculum materials are sent to you. Most often you're seeing a payment plan of between, so you pay your deposit of $375, then your payments are going to be every other week, every other Friday, and then it's usually between $150 and $300, depending on what you're paying for and depending on how you set it up. But if you have a specific amount and specific dates that you want your payments to come out, you just let us know. We're really flexible. We truly do not believe that finances should ever get in the way of you being able to do your dreams and, accomplish becoming a doula, because it is, like I said, it's really, really important work. And we take it seriously, and we want you to take it seriously too, but we'd never want finances to come in between you and getting this work done, because it's too urgent and it's too important for that to be a factor. That is why we're happy to work with you on payment plans. And, we just want to help you make your dreams come true, because you doing the work makes our dreams come true. Okay. So how long is it going to take? The workshop series itself is about 21 to 24 hours. The reading, depending on your speed, might take you 60 to 70 hours. The writing could be 10 to 15 hours, although I know people who've completed all their writing in just a matter of less than like 5. If you're quick, if you're just a real quick writer and you can come up with things quickly, that's easy to get through. Difficulty level. So this is a comprehensive program. It's not the easiest, but it's also not difficult. We make it very simple. Don't let it overwhelm you. You're going to take one step at a time. The other thing is that this is really what you're doing here is going to be supported, right? So you're going to have study groups available to you, weekly study groups, multiple weekly study groups. You have the private Facebook group that you can just go on and ask questions, right? And then you also, every student gets assigned a mentor. So you'll have a mentor. It's usually your trainer. If you were at an actual workshop or virtual, you'll have the trainer that was running it usually ends up being your mentor. If you are self-study, then your mentor gets assigned to you. But every student gets a mentor. So you can reach out to her anytime, text her, ask her questions. And that is an amazing amount of support that you're not going to find that with any of the other programs that exist out there. It's just our trainers and our mentors put so much of their heart and soul into this work. They really believe in you, and they want to make sure that you're, getting out there to your full potential. So your difficulty level, it's a little difficult, yes, but is it worth it? Absolutely. And are you going to feel very accomplished with high integrity when you're done? 100%. Okay, so let's move on. Why are you going to choose Maternity Wise? It's an international board certification. So there are no regulations when it comes to becoming a certified doula. There are state registries, state directories. If you are going to take clients that are on Medicaid, there's certain criteria that you have to meet. We meet all of those standards, right? And we are an independent certifying body, which basically means we are independent, but our accountability comes from you all. So if you need something from us, we are accountable to you. We are really pretty much owned by our members. Our students are who we answer to, right? So if you realize that you need more training in something, you tell us, we provide it. And then also we're recognized globally. So even though there's no regulatory agency that exists, people in countries around the world have taken our training and gotten certified with us, and their certifications are recognized where they are. So that's amazing, right? So exciting. We have a standardized curriculum. I don't know of any other organization that has a standardized curriculum quite like ours. So ours is very comprehensive, and your trainers are going to have the same standard that they're teaching you with. We have manuals, we have certification packets, just similar to other organizations. However, most other organizations give their trainers kind of the reins. And so whatever the trainer wants to teach on, as long as they kind of check off these boxes, they're good. With us, our standardized curriculum means that every single student gets the same training. Unfortunately, there is a great variability in what kind of quality or what kind of support that you're going to get with a doula, depending on the organization that they're with. Our level is a pre-midwifery level. So what that means is that, our program's used as a midwifery prep program many times. We really take it seriously, our level of knowledge and our level of wisdom and the boldness and the bravery that comes with that and the confidence that comes with that. Some doulas that I've come across in the past, even from the major organizations that exist out there that some people think are like the end all be all licensing program, which nobody is, by the way, nobody is. But their training is so poor. And we've had people that come to us from other organizations and they're like, I need to get trained because I got certified with this organization, but I feel like I'm not ready to actually work with clients. And we hear that a lot. We have a lot of students who we call them cross certifications, where they get certified with somebody else and they come to us because they need more. They need to fill in the gaps. We have evidence-based education. We're constantly upgrading, updating, and refreshing our curriculums. Our mentors are assigned and ongoing. We have ongoing support in many forms, like I talked about. And we joke that we're not a cult. So there's some organizations out there that are very much like, if you're not one of us, you're not a real doula, right? And that's silly because ultimately, historically, there weren't any organizations, right? And so you're a doula if you're a doula. You probably find yourself called to this work already. You probably already know that this is something that you should be doing, right? Anyway, we're not a cult. We don't believe that we're the end all be all and that if you're not one of us, you're not a real doula. But we see you. We see you people that do. We've been around since 2002. We've been around for a while. And even though we're a smaller organization, it's very family based, very family oriented, and we love it that way, by the way. We offer programs that are not available elsewhere. We have, for example, the Epidoula program. That is a premier program that Maternity Wise created, and nobody else has it. We are super proud of that program because it really, really makes a difference. So let me explain what it is. If you have a client who gets an epidural, there's a lot of different complications and potentially bad outcomes that could come from that. When you have the epidoula training, it allows you to use a specific set of skills that helps to reduce complications when you get the epidural. It also helps you to reduce bad outcomes. It helps you work with the benefits of the epidural so that your client can get the best outcome possible. And I know that there are doulas out there that think, if you get an epidural, what am I here for? What am I needed for? Well, you're really more needed now than you were before. So getting an epidural training is really gonna, it's gonna add to and enrich the tools that you already have, but it's also gonna open your eyes to how typical hospital protocol and, conventional medical stuff and more natural stuff can actually be married together and give a client the best outcome possible. So that's exciting. That's, a different kind of philosophy. And we are really happy because most births happen in hospitals, we're really happy to make sure that our doulas understand hospital protocol and how things work so that they can be the best doula for their clients. We also provide a lot of business startup and growth education and support. There's numerous business things that you're going to learn during your actual, combo training. But on top of that, if you want, you can attend our birth business boot camp. There's a few different things that we offer along that line, and we have insurance, how to do insurance classes. We have HIPAA classes. We have search engine optimization classes. We have all these different advanced classes just for doulas, and it's pretty exciting. We also have one rule. Our one rule is kindness first and always. And as I was reminded by a student recently, that also applies to us. We have to be kind to ourselves first and always, as well as others. And if we can't do that, we're not going to be a very good doula, right? All right, so how do I get clients? When you become a doula, this is a question we get a lot. When you become a doula, it's not something where you want to go out and hunt for your client, right? Being found versus finding, this might turn your head upside down just a little bit, but you want to be in the position where they're going to find you. If you're around for any amount of time, you're going to hear me joke that, you know, you can chase down all the pregnant ladies at the grocery store. That's not going to mean that they'll hire you, right? You don't want to be creepy. Don't be stalking the pregnant ladies through the parking lot, you know. Just be found, be findable, so that when they're ready to hire a doula, then they're going to come looking and they'll find you, right? So we're going to teach you of a lot of different places online to be found and how to be found. And then also it's really important to network, because again, when people are in the place of state of mind where they want to hire a doula, they're going to be asking around. So being part of your community where you get that word of mouth, that WOM, that is going to be so much more powerful than taking out Google ads or emailing random strangers or leaving your card places. There's lots of interesting shoestring marketing tactics that could be useful, but the most valuable, the people that are going to waste your time the least are the ones where you're networking and the network is referring to you, and that word of mouth of your past clients, of your friends, neighbors, that sort of thing, when they're referring to you. And we teach you quite a few of those tactics during our trainings, right? Then there's also digital positioning. So just making sure that you have a good website, and that does not take much effort. Again, there are programs out there and platforms out there that are going to help you to create a website that's professional and simple and maybe even free. So let us help you figure that out, okay? Also, online social presence. Instagram, Facebook, if you're not on those, it's fine, but it does help you to get views, right? It helps you to be in front of people. There are many, many directories online where you can have yourself listed, where families are looking for doulas. There's also platforms online, and more are popping up all the time, where you can list your services and actually even use like a back office type support system that they've built into these platforms. So just keep an eye out for that. And again, we're going to tell you all about those. We're going to list them off for you. You're going to be able to go and get yourself listed there and be found by people, right? And then participate in groups. So like Facebook groups or other online chat groups where you can, you know, help provide by giving advice, by giving resources, and then you're the resource, right? And so then you're making a name for yourself as the person that I see her giving advice, and I'm going to trust that person. I'm going to reach out to them if I need a doula. Now, by your side, this is not an all-inclusive list of people behind the scenes and maternity-wise, but I wanted to just give you some faces and some names so that once you get started with us, you're going to recognize a lot of these people. So there's me, Stephanie, Hillary, Amber, Catherine, Natalie. If you've communicated with us at all, you've probably communicated with Natalie a bit. And I don't know if you guys can hear all those sirens in the background, but I live in New York City. That's where I'm zooming from. And I happen to live on one of the ambulance lines. So sometimes we get a lot of sirens. So I apologize if you just heard all that. Megan Horn, there's Rachel, there's Simone. So the people you're most likely to come into contact with are Natalie as your first contact person, Hillary if you need a payment plan, And then Rachel, you'll probably come into contact with on the Facebook group. Now, any of these other ladies you may or may not come into contact with as a trainer or as a mentor or as somebody that's, behind the scenes helping you. But feel free to reach out to any of them if you need, okay? And get in touch with us. Here's 2 ways to get in touch with us. There's our phone number, and then also you can get, like I said, on any page of the website. You can get on that website. At the bottom of each page is a little comment question box. Feel free to fill that in and ask a question, and you will be responded to very quickly. So I hope that this answers all your questions. If you had anything else that you needed, please reach out and happy to help. All right, well, have a great day, guys. See you in class.